I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, April 24th. And if you'd like to stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The clerk will please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Haremza.
Here.
Councilmember Lamb. Councilmember Mosherak.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Here.
Mayor Rett.
Here. You have the minutes from the regular meeting of April the 10th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any changes to the minutes? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes stand as submitted. We will move on to public comment. Now is the time. If anyone wishes to address the City Council, please come forward. You give us your name, and you have 4 minutes, and there you go.
Hello, my name is Claire Huntoon. I live at 829 Prospect Place in Port Huron. And foremost, I'm here to thank the City Council and the City of Port Huron. In August 2022, we live on the north side of Pine Grove Park in that little neighborhood. It's called the Lightship neighborhood. And we had a sidewalk installed on the north side of Pine Grove Park, along with some other light up speed limit signs and a crosswalk. And these are all things that we were really hoping for better pedestrian amenities and access to the park from our neighborhood, because there's lots of children that live there, including mine. So just wanted to come and thank all of you and the input that you allowed us to have as our neighborhood for those amenities. And also just here to hope that that produces more forward momentum for increased walkability and pedestrian amenities in the city of Port Huron, because we've noticed an increase in people walking there just since that's been installed. People in wheelchairs, people on bikes, as people identify that that sidewalk is there, it gives them more access to the park, which is such a vital asset for people who live in the city. That's where our kids can go to play in the park, and we just need increased access to those places on bike and by foot. So I'm just here to implore the city to continue to implement some of those things from the master plan for the county, green spaces, walkability, and the Complete Streets initiative. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hi, Mayor Rapp, City Council, good evening. My name is Julie Snyder. I live at 46 14th Street. We are all hoping this evening that you approve the zoning change for Whiskey Coffee at 1340 Water Street. Our community stands with Dale Moses 100%, and it means a lot to our neighborhood. And also it would be a privilege to have this business operating in Harrison Point neighborhood. Dale has and continues to maintain a great relationship with the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Julian Rutt, 1423 Lapeer Avenue, Polly's Place. It's been about a year. Nothing. About a year, me coming down to city council meetings, and nothing has happened. Shortly before I went away for a month on tour where I could make some actual money instead of working in this town, I had a meeting with the mayor, and the mayor pro tem, and the police chief. He was the unexpected guest. I didn't know would be there, but I'm glad he was there. Because though he and I may disagree on a few things, and I'm sure he doesn't like me, he and I have to have practical eyes when looking at the community and what's happening. We can't have blinders on. But in that meeting, it became very clear very quickly that blinders are all the mayor and the mayor pro tem have on. In the first few minutes where we were supposed to negotiate, finally, our 5th or 6th fresh start along the way, I feel like Charlie Brown in the football here. It says, here it was, we're gonna figure out a way forward to expand what is good in what we do throughout the Harrison Point community with collaboration. So in good faith, there I was once again. In the first 10 minutes, or you two, trying to convince us that what we were doing wasn't even necessary. You're telling me, well, there are plenty of other places that give away food in the community. Why do you feel you need to as well? So their opening negotiation was to tell us that we shouldn't exist. What am I supposed to do with that? And then in response, I said, you do realize Port Huron is one of the most impoverished cities in the country. And they both said at the same time in unison, no, it's not. Yes, it is. How many times do I have to tell you 1 in 4 live in poverty in Port Huron? The national average is 1 in 8. If you go to the City of Port Huron website right now, go on your phones, folks, cityofporthuron.org, and read the few paragraphs from the mayor. Welcome to Port Huron, this, that, all this information. It's a whole bunch of fluff. I mean, honestly, a 10th grade English teacher wouldn't let it pass as any kind of essay. And in the last few sentences, she says, oh, Port Huron with its low crime rate. What? We have twice the violent crime rate of the national average. We are bringing the national average down. We are an embarrassment to most of the country. And you didn't even know that. It'd be bad enough if some people in this room didn't know that, right? It'd be bad enough if some people up here didn't know that. It'd be bad enough if the mayor didn't know that. But she is literally the president of the Mayors Association of Michigan, the mayor of mayors in Michigan. And she also did not know that Detroit is the poorest city in the country, and that Port Huron is only marginally higher than that. So how are we supposed to move forward when you won't acknowledge reality, when you deny we should even exist, when we are actively lifting up families out of poverty? I mean, I've brought them here and they've spoken to you. Do they not count? Do the poor people of this city not exist? Because poverty is 1 in 4, but poor is more than half. You've been in charge for a decade plus. You don't know these things? All you gotta do is walk down the street and see it. Trash all over the streets, broken sidewalks, ruined potholes, and you have the audacity to have a blight department out here affecting the citizens? Shame on you. You do the city a favor to just resign.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the city council this evening?
No, go ahead, go ahead. Take it.
Never want to be last. Thank you, Council. We just had a great meeting upstairs, supporting great issues, and this is as important. My name is Kevin Watkins, a Wells Township resident, and I work here in Port Huron College, and president of Port Huron Branch NAACP. Very much because of the work I do, you know, we are engaged with people, community, want to move this community forward with putting people first. So I came up here to say certain things, but first I want to mention what the gentleman just came up, kind of disturbing. But always tell people, you know, take things in, always internalize and find out the rest of the story, and always keep in mind that we have, whether people say nothing against anyone, him or anyone up front here, or myself, but always keep in mind that we have blind faith in God. Everyone else needs data. So we would research his data, and if that is correct, we have a problem. So I won't comment on that at all before I research that data that this gentleman just mentioned. What I want to mention too, I want to thank you, the council, city manager, mayor, and all involved with the resolution that was passed the last meeting or meeting before last in regards to addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I don't have the number in front of me. Left that in the car. Exactly, you know what resolution I'm talking about. I just want to mention that, you know, we have a great country, and I love the fact that I want to respect the fact that people have right to of their dissent, their opinion. We all respect that. But when it's something that's as important to that, you always would like to have unanimous decisions on something like that. That's like a superintendent being hired for a district and have a split board. He's walking into trouble. So having some to dissent on that resolution was concerning. But I would, those two individuals, I appreciate the one who sent letter out stating why he dissented. That's very important. That's what the Supreme Court does. When they dissent, they write the dissent. It's important for people to know why you said yes also, but for sure, why you said no on something that the public wants, per se in general, and that who does not want diversity, equity, and inclusion in any entity of society. So I appreciate the one gentleman who did that. The other board council member that did not, I'd like to hear from her, but why did she dissent? So that, but respectively, I respect that dissent and like that conversation about that. But what I want to do, I don't want to talk about the negative things. I want to talk about the positive things that gentleman does and that councilwoman does. This council in general does some great things for Port Huron. I remember how things looked in 2008 and how they look now, and just the idea of Port Huron as a destination place and where people want to be, and you make that happen. I always, other times, and I know sometimes Ms. Ashford looks at me when I always give Mr. Freed all the credit for things. I know him well, and I usually would do that, but it's the council who does that. The council who hired Mr. Freed. If I just want to mention the one thing, what he does, because I'm part of the chief CRC in regards to what our public safety does for this community in St. County at large, and all parts of St. County, because as Port Huron goes, so does the rest of St. Clair County, is that I know that Mr. Freed, and I know with the backing of the council, tells the chief, you need this, go get it. And the last thing is the reunification family assistance trailer. I don't have time to really talk about that. It's an awesome thing to put in place that's leading the region with our Port Huron public safety having that for emergencies, and it's because of you and because of the city manager that they have the funds and ability to do.
Kevin, your 4 minutes is up.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council?
Kathleen McCready, 414 14th Street. Apparently also known, thanks to David Haynes, as the steadfast defender of Harrison Point. Thank you for that. I really don't know what to say. I hope our neighborhood is viewed under the equity, that we are all viewed under that it will help put us on a level playing field without the rest of the city, and things like the recovery houses will be equally distributed across the city, not just in our neighborhood, because we're an R1 neighborhood, so we have exceptions cast upon us that aren't elsewhere in the city. Our neighborhood has always been fluid. It's still fluid. We have a couple of victories lately with the house that's been under construction for 8 years. The old wood is down, hopefully the contractor. I'm expecting to see a finished house by September, is my expectation. Both the former churches continue to be a problem. We welcome Dale. It's great to have a neighborhood business. We hope that will follow through. He picks up so we have senior citizens in the neighborhood that aren't ready for Meals on Wheels, so they go to Dale. And they get home cooked food right in the neighborhood with a face that they know and a face that they can relate to, and it keeps them in their house, and it keeps the neighborhood stable. My last thing is Mr. Ruck. I'm tired of the bashing. Harrison Point is not Harrison Point City Initiative. We are aghast by the blight. The sign is not permitted. It's not legal. No, it's not. He has.
We don't go back and forth. You had your opportunity to speak. It's Kathleen's now. You can continue.
He doesn't have a sign permit. He has a fence permit. I know how to use the BSNA software. The things he wants to do, the neighborhood activities he wants to conduct, there's no water, there's no potable water, there's no water at all. It's not safe. It's not safe to have an oven, to be cooking for little children and people in the neighborhood because there's no water available. There's no porta potty put on the spot. What can I say? It's nice that he wants to grow food and give it to the soup kitchen, but a lot of the other activities that he outlines on his Facebook page are not within the bounds of what we'd like to see and what is legal to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the city council this evening?
Kevin Linke. I live in my mom's basement. So I'm here tonight. I'm sure most of you are aware of the SCOTUS decision that came out this morning granting our petition for cert. So it's going to be an interesting one to go talk about, and we're going to see what's going to go on there. I would imagine it's costing the city a pretty decent amount of money because I know Mr. Schaudi's firm isn't very cheap unless they're giving you a discount. And I know they're not cheap because I'm wrapped up in a ton of litigation with them, and I'm aware of my billing code that I have with the city and with the county, so I get to see those numbers, and you guys are doing pretty well off me, so maybe send me a present or like an edible arrangement or something. Be appreciated. You know, I'd like to talk about, I read the newspaper article about the grant you guys are getting, and you guys are changing your grant now. Well, Mr. Freed was here a year ago and said there was this huge uptick in child abuse, and he needed to be the champion to help you guys out because you have such a backlog, you don't have enough employees. So they gave you almost $400,000. You've yet to take that money. And that money was earmarked for you to hire professionals, licensed professionals. Now you're gonna hire 2 in-house interns that aren't even out of school yet and give them all that money. That's bullshit. I think that was your plan all along because this is what you do. You rob city of money and public money and you pay it to yourselves. And so, you know, you don't care about kids. You're a fraud. So you should just resign too. Like the last person said, Mayor Reps resign, you should quit too and let someone else take over the can council because what you're doing there is bullshit. And you're wasting a lot of money and you're allowing a lot of kids to be hurt. And it's just, it needs to end. Interns, that's what you're gonna do. $400,000 to hire interns that aren't even out of school yet. So we have to wait for these interns to graduate before they can start providing services on a professional level. So we'll let kids suffer even longer. Did you tell everybody that at your last dinner that you just had last week? That's what your plan is? Because I bet you didn't. You know, you're a joke. You are literally a joke. The other issue we have is Mr. Schaudi's son. Fire his ass. Charge him criminally. What he did was a criminal act. If I come up here and punch you in the face, guess what? I'm going to jail. So why does his kid get a pass to do what he did? And then Chief Platzer and Chief Kerrigan lied. Oh, we got training for him. No, you didn't. I have his disciplinary records. There's no training notated on there. He got 1 day off, so he got a vacation for punching a resident in the face. It's nonsense. So, and there's gonna be a lawsuit coming from that. You also got 2 more lawsuits on the horizon that are coming. So that's 3 now, 4 now on your guys' behavior. How much, you can keep watching the clock, Mayor, I got plenty of time. How much more money are you guys gonna spend on your bad behavior? When's it gonna end? Because it's getting to be bullshit, because that's our tax money that is going to his firm for you guys to violate our rights. So, you know, if Mr. Schaudi and Mr. Fletcher can't give you better legal advice, it might be time to get a new city attorney. Because whatever they're telling you, I mean, we're seeing flat out that it's not right. You know, and I'll get back to this federal money, just so you guys know, and I told the Board of Commissioners this at the last meeting I was at, I'm in contact with the Attorney General's office and I've been in contact with the feds. They are keeping eyes on what's going on here. You're playing around with a lot of federal money. And I know you guys are used to just doing whatever you want and in all your shit with your city money. Just know that the feds are watching and they don't like their money to be played with. We're just watching the East Point mayor got charged with 4 felonies for a $10,000 PPE loan that she wasn't supposed to get. That's 10 grand. You guys are playing around with millions. So do what you're gonna do, but there's gonna be consequences if you step out of line. So you should be cognizant of that. The last thing is Mr. Freed gave a quote today to Jackie here, saying a lot of mentally unstable people in the community, and that's why he deleted his Facebook page, and he needs to protect his family. Well, what are you guys gonna do to protect the women of this city from Mr. Freed? That should be a much bigger concern, because he's a scumbag. Freed is a scumbag. He's an embarrassment to the city, and if you Google his name and all the bad press, you guys all look like jokes. You make the city look like jokes because you're protecting his ass. Do something.
Please stop clapping and your time is up.
I won't stop clapping when people are speaking truth to you.
Our rules say no applauding from the audience. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the city? Is there anyone else who wishes to address the city council this evening? You're done talking. Pardon me? The time is up, and we'll move on to the next person. Is there another person in the audience who wishes to address us for public audience tonight?
Your old way of doing things is over with.
Declare public audience closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Mosrak. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. Items on the consent agenda. Received the proposed capital improvement program and scheduled a public hearing for May the 8th to hear public comments on this program. Received the proposed 2023-24 Downtown Development Authority budget and scheduled a public hearing for May 8th to hear public comments on this budget. Recognized April 28th as Arbor Day in the city of Port Huron. Under ordinances, we have second reading and enactment of two ordinances. One is to amend Chapter 52 zoning to rezone the property generally described as 1340 Water Street from R1 zoning district to a B zoning district, which is neighborhood business district, and also an ordinance to amend Chapter 52 zoning to rezone the property generally described as 2910 32nd Street, including vacant lots east to 30th Street and south to John L. Portis Drive, from an R1 zoning district to an M1 zoning district. And we will then go to from the city manager, number 1.
Accepting the bid from Hess Asphalt Paving Company in the amount of $68,802 for the removal and installation, reseal, and restripe of the parking lot and driveway at Lakeside Cemetery Chapel.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashford. Is there a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there any questions on this item?
Yeah, just to point specific, I know this is your area, right, Nancy? And the main part of this is that front part of the,
Yes.
going to be the front repairs, and the back wasn't so bad?
Yeah, we do have some pictures, Bruce, if you could
Oh, yeah, okay, that'd be
put them
great.
on, that'd be great. This is, I've been with the city 30 years, and we have not done this since I've been here. But it is the main entrance to where you come in at the chapel. There's a lot of potholes, lots of holes in there. We've been putting it off. So, but it really does need to be done now. And it's, like I said, our main entrance, we're going to stripe it all so that, you know, when they come into park for funerals,
When you say stripe it off, what do you stripe it off?
striping for parking
Oh, okay.
during the funeral.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's been needing to be done for some time.
Oh, okay.
In bad shape.
Yes.
Yeah, so nothing is not being added or anything
No.
to the front or back, and it's not being repaired. It's really just being removed and just done all over.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think, I mean, I gotta give a little credit to the cemetery crew because they never get it as much, you know, because it's not the most luxurious job here in the city, but they do a great job with, like, I mean, they've done a lot of upgrades to the chapel on their own, painting when they can, doing the inside when they can, and this piece is just something that will add a lot more, and the guys even put up new curtains, so it's looking really nice. So this is kind of the last piece to the puzzle. So
And it's good, I say it's only $68,700. Of course, the lowest bid, but we always go for it. So that's
yes,
good.
actually, note that this one is $100 more than the lowest bid.
Right.
The reason we went with Hess is due to timing. The other ones
Yeah, it's
could
just a
not get
few.
it done before our timeline.
Yeah, but it's within the range.
Yep.
That's what I mean, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. We'll move on to resolutions. Number 1, please.
Approving the agreement with Premier Security Solutions to provide security guard services to Lakeside Beach and Lighthouse Beach for the 2023 summer season.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Support?
Councilmember Mosrak, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Would you like to give a little background on why we're going to this?
So last year we did a trial with this due to just kind of trying to save the burnout on the officers. And, the cost of this was a little bit less, but I mean, the officers have always been there for us. They still continue to be, like if we have traffic issues or we need them, they're like always right there. But this just gives presence in the park and gives them an opportunity to do other things that need to be done in the city. But again, they're always there for us. We do have 2 officers at the beach every weekend, or not every weekend, on the holiday weekends, and then cadets there every weekend. So I don't know if I missed anything. Joe,
In addition to this, you mean?
Yes, in addition to this. And this is fully covered by the revenues in the park. So, it's something that is definitely needed.
Any questions?
Yeah, so just piggybacking off of, I'm not going too fast. Anybody else? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Not the mayor. It's okay, Mayor? Okay, so these are armed guards that are going to be there. They're going to be armed, is that correct? Armed security officers?
They're not armed. They're just, chief, yeah. I want to make sure. We talked about the differences, and we did not choose to go with the armed. So they're just,
Oh, okay.
yes. But
you're-
most of them are retired officers or retired people from the military, and like the chief and assistant chief have been very helpful in helping us vet them and help us get the program up the ground. They do a lot of training with them to make sure that they're doing exactly what needs to be done.
Okay, on page 11 of your thing, you have to sign, it says armed security guards, so you're going to make that correction?
Yes.
Okay. I just
We
want to
went back and forth with that, so.
Oh, okay, well,
So you can, yes.
you
they
just
did.
didn't correct it on
Yep.
there.
They
Okay,
did
so it's
put
not
that on
corrected.
there.
So I have 2 questions to this, and I hope you can answer them. You might not, didn't cover this. So this is coming out of the general fund, and it could have easily came out of the public, the public safety or the parks and recreation, but we choose the general fund. Is there any reason for that?
Well, the general fund is the same, so it's all one big pot. So
Okay, just-
their budget's the same as mine and same as the beaches. So the beaches each have their own budget. So it's
That's
just
what I was-
really a good way to account for what we're actually spending at the beach. So it's all the general fund.
Okay.
It's all one big, it's just separate categories.
Oh, okay. And then also on this resolution, you don't have you have a dollar amount with $30 per guard. So we're talking about two guards? We don't have a final
Right,
figure.
and yes.
I could call and look it up. You don't have to
Yeah.
try to
Well-
do that math, not unless you're that good.
I'm not that good.
Okay.
But I'm in recreation for a reason. But I will say the reason why there's not a dollar amount is because we're very careful. Like if it's raining or it's going to rain or there's not a lot of people, we send them home. So I don't have an exact number because it's weather dependent. So last year I know we had about 600 hours. Now this year it could rain every weekend. It could rain, it could not rain at all. So that's why we only do the per hour, because we just don't know. Or if chief's saying to me, we're having more people than normal, we're having more issues, maybe we need to add a guard for certain days. So
Okay.
that's
So
why there's no definite.
And that's why I said ballpark,
Yeah.
because you usually, your baseline, you go off of something, so you have some idea. But I got you. Okay, and lastly, here, do they have that answer?
Phone a friend.
Hey, we need some life up in here. That's all right. Let it go. Let it roll. Okay. Okay, Nancy. Okay, I'm finished with that. No, that's why I just didn't
Yeah.
want you to think I was trying to
No, no.
be tough.
Nope, I understand.
It's not a trick question. It's just that,
Oh, that's good.
I've just looked at the baseline,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be right when you're on the base, because you could steal the third base and go home. And I want to make sure we all right financially when we get home.
Yes.
Okay.
So hopefully, like I said, it'll be
So hopefully
dependent
it's
on
okay.
weather. Yep.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I just have a question then. Was this done because of, let's say, residents' concern as far as population? Yeah,
Yeah.
more attendance at the beach, because this hasn't been in place.
Right.
But as the attendants
Well,
addressing some of those
originally, we've always had the police that were there every weekend, but again, due to, burnout, them having to work almost every weekend, I don't know if Chief wants to comment more on that, but basically, it's a lot of the same issues, but it's just, I can let Chief kind of get into some of the issues that we had with
Come on down here, Chief.
officers.
There
Give
you
us
go.
the
He
answers
wanted
here.
to turn anyway.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So last several years, the beach numbers have increased dramatically. If you go by the beach on any given Saturday or Sunday, the numbers are extremely up there. Our parking is a hassle up in the north end of the city by Lighthouse and Lakeside Park. And when Nancy and I talked about this last year, I mean, our officers are they're to the point where they don't want the overtime anymore. And they work, 2 weekends out of the month already. We only get so many good weekends in the summertime here in Michigan. And we're ordering the officers to work the overtime. So I have a city to police. We've got calls for service, and to put the officers up there, it's just they're getting to the burnout. And I don't want to lose officers. I'm trying to retain officers.
Amen.
And I don't want them to go to other departments where they don't have to work as much overtime as they do with our agency. Plus, you look at all the other special events that we have throughout the summertime. So there is a lot of things that happen in Fort Huron. To answer your question, Councilmember Ashford, they're not armed, so they're civilian guards.
Good.
They are former police and military. We've met with this company, and I feel comfortable with them. And to support them, we do have our cadets working up on the beaches and also during the week.
Okay.
Now, on the 3 major holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, we do support them with additional officers because the traffic is just horrendous up there. And with that, like I say, if they call, we'll show up and assist them. We got a good working relationship with the Parks and Recs and Ben and Nancy's staff. And but again, I've got the whole city of Fort Huron to police, and it's not fair to put all my resources up in the north end of the city. There's calls for service throughout the city of Fort Huron.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, yeah, that's a good point. It does free us up to get out, throughout the city. So that's a good thing. Yeah. And I'm all right on the armed thing. I was hoping you didn't arm them, just because it's here. So that was a good call.
Yeah, and I think too, when we're looking at that, they're trying to break it down, going, if you have an armed guard, it's going to be this amount of money. If you have an unarmed guard, it's going to be that amount of money.
Yeah.
And like Nancy mentioned too, if it rains, we're sending them home. If it's cold and we drive by there, my supervisors are doing the same thing. If our cadets are out there and there's only, I don't want to put a number, but there's not a lot in the park, we're sending our cadets home to save on money also.
Yeah, well, and you haven't had any incidents, any wild incidents these past since the beach, have you, or anything?
Don't jinx it.
Oh,
We've had, like I said, we've had parking complaints.
Yeah, just parking.
A lot. We've had citizens that have complained about beach goers coming up onto their property, taking their picnic tables off of their property, bringing them out into the water,
Really?
and using them as their personal picnic table. We've had residents that have called and complained about people showing up on their private property and putting their tents out and everything like that. So,
wow.
but these are things that we've all handled working together.
That's good. Thank you for all the work you and your guys do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think there's anything else, is there? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd just like to add, like, when he says they are just always there for us, and we're very lucky to have that here in the city, because a lot of people in the park on the weekend. So thank you again to Chief and his staff.
We will take the vote.
Councilmember Harenza,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Mayor Rapp.
Yes. Resolution 2.
Approving the agreement with Rowe Professional Services Company for design and engineering services for improvements to the 16th Street Park as part of the awarded Spark Grant from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Is there anything you'd like to bring up on this, Nancy? I think we talked about this a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, already. Does anybody have any questions on the 16th Street Park?
Yeah, I had
improvements?
one of the, Mayor Rep.
Yes, go
Yeah, I
right
had
ahead.
one of the residents ask me, you know, I see here on page 23, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points as to what the improvements are. And the resident was saying that she used to take her kids, her grandkids over there on playing on the thing, and we tore it all down. Do we have any plans to put anything back there?
Yes, we do, Mayor
Oh.
Ashfield. Or Ashford. We
Mayor Ashford.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm already getting fired on my second day here. Yes, we are planning on that. We're actually looking at a more exercise ninja kind of course. Like I always tell you, we try to come up with different innovative things. So that one will be more sports themed.
Okay.
So yes, we will be,
have something to
we will
look
be
forward
bringing,
to.
yes, we will be bringing that back in for
that's
sure.
good, yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 3.
Approving the allocation of American Rescue Plan funding to the Port Huron Museum in the amount of $29,700 for patio replacement and installation of a drainage system at the Edison Depot.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Mosrak. Any questions? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4.
Renaming the River Street Marina to the James C. Atchison Marina.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. I guess I'm going to take privilege this time and comment first that I usually wait to the last and I don't get to say anything. So I'm just going to say that this is something that I just am really in favor of. James C. Atchison did so much for our community, and he deserves this recognition. And I think this is a great way for us to recognize his love of the water, his love of boating, and I think we might have right behind us a picture of what it's going to look like, and I think that's just a great tribute to a great man. And now I'll let anybody else make a comment.
I agree completely. I think the only thing that could make it this better if he was still here with us today and he could see this, or we would have done it prior. Not always has he been treated the way he should have been. So I'm very excited to see this happen, and it's well deserved.
Anyone else?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Pemberton.
One, I agree on both points, but also these signs look awesome.
They do.
And I've gotten a ton of comments just from everyone that's seen them, especially once they were lit up. A ton of residents commenting. So I like this one in particular.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Ashford.
I had actually called the administration. I actually had proposed that we name the Pocket Park right across from the Community Foundation, name it after James C. Atchison, because there was another part of Mr. Atchison that we all see. He didn't make any difference. He grew up on the South End. No matter, what color you are, how much money you had, he's just a normal, everyday person. And in my vision, I could see us sitting at the park. I don't know how many got boats that I could go over there and see that at the marina. That's fine. I don't know if we ever should want to limit ourselves to, just visit the marina. But when you sit up there on the main, and it's on the south side, right there on the park, and sitting there and see the James C. Atchison sign, maybe in the future, I know he's going to be placed at Heritage Park. But in this case, this type of person, there's not, no limit to what you can do to show your appreciation. And he was a part of all of us and what he did. If you had a cause, and some of those causes, he didn't even let you know he was doing them. He just did it because it was the right thing to do. And so they would actually, in my vision, have the experience of sitting there at that park and looking there, and, you know, and still you're on the water, you seem to capture it all and what he really meant to us here as the city of Port Huron and what he tried to portray as a human being. He was really great, and he had this city at heart, and he didn't let anything stop him. And just like my former councilman said, he got kind of upset with some, or whatever, but he got upset, but what did he do? He didn't quit. He kept going. He kept giving. And that's somebody to really, you know, take note of. So I just wanted to say that, you know, that I thought of the park, but I did send the mayor and James email back. I said, well, I agree with the marina too. You can agree with that. You can agree with a whole lot of things. And some things could be, you know, better said. It's just, you know, from my eyes only or whatever, and maybe somebody else agreed with me, but that's just what I thought. So I just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
Anyone else have a comment to make? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 5.
Receiving the proposed 2023-2024 budget and scheduling a public hearing for May 8th, 2023 to hear public comments from interested citizens on the proposed budget.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Any questions about the scheduling of a public hearing? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 9.
Approving the proposal with DLZ Michigan Incorporated for engineering services to complete the detailed inspection of the approach spans of the 7th Street Bridge.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Mosrak, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Does anyone have any questions on this? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, that concludes our regular business. We do have a special meeting to discuss the 23-24 budget, which will be held on Thursday, May 4th at 5 p.m. upstairs in conference room 408. Is there anything else to come before the council this evening?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Pemberton.
Just want to make a couple comments specifically for Mr. Ruck and for the sake of the public. First of all, the hallmarks of any community partnership or collaboration are respect, honesty, civility. Please stop talking.
I'm listening.
Stop talking. If you continue to disrupt, it is disorderly conduct, and I will ask the mayor to gavel you down. And if you continue to disrupt, you'll be removed from the meeting. And you can listen to my address to you online.
Do I get to respond to you?
No.
Okay.
You've had your time for public comment, and this is my time. That's why I'm giving you a warning. And if you continue, stop, because if you continue, I will ask her for point of order.
I'm not interested in being lectured by you.
Then you can listen to it online.
Here's the thing. I get
Stop.
4 minutes
Enough
every
right
week.
now. You're done.
I get 4 minutes every few weeks, and you get as much time as you want. Piss off.
Again, these comments are just as much for the public as they are for Mr. Ruck, so I'll continue. The reality of it is, these collaborations for community partnerships are built on respect, honesty, and civility, something that clearly Mr. Ruck lacks. And I want it to be abundantly clear to him that this council has no interest in working with him. And I want to, or any organization he proclaims to lead, just to be clear. It has nothing to do with poverty or community gardening or food security. There are a number of organizations, individuals in this city that are addressing those things with no problem. The problem is Mr. Ruck and his behavior. The public witnesses these 4-minute verbal attacks, but what they don't often get to see is his harassing emails, often in the middle of the night, explicit, just disgusting attacks against our mayor and his neighbors. And all for the sake of his TikTok followers or his Facebook friends. And quite frankly, I'm sick of the show.
and I think we all are. This is unacceptable behavior for anyone who truly wishes to partner with the city on any endeavor to improve a community. But with the exception of myself, everyone on this stage has offered him site visits, meetings, have really gone above and beyond. And the result is always the same, verbal and written attacks. His behavior is quite frankly a liability to the city if we were to ever partner with him. And as elected officials of the city, we cannot put that liability of that partnership on this city. And so I don't mean to be presumptuous. I believe from everyone I've spoken to at one point or another, I believe I speak for the entire council. If I don't, please, this is your opportunity to say that you don't agree. But I think it's important for the sake of the public and Mr. Ruck that this is at least just on the record here.
Thank you for the comments.
Mayor,
Yes,
I
Councilmember.
just thank you, Councilmember Pemberton, for bringing that to light. Could not agree with you more. I as well am tired of the verbal attacks against our mayor and everybody else that he has a meeting with. It's take your ball and go home if he doesn't get it his way. And sorry I had to put it that simple, but enough is enough. So I'm glad that Jeff brought it to light. And also everybody on our council that I've talked to feels the same way. So thanks for bringing that to light. Thank you.
Mayor Rutt.
Councilmember Ashford.
Okay, I don't know, but mine is not specific to whether it's Mr. Ruck or Mr. whoever. But when you come before us as a citizen, you're concerned about wherever you are, you do need some diplomacy and some respect. And I think that's what DEI is all about, the treatment, how we want to be treated. And I know many even viewers are out there saying, you come in here and you hear all this, profanity, at the microphone, and you hear people want it their ways and everything. And my colleagues up here they are right in terms of we do a whole lot of things behind the scenes. But it's always one thing that you don't do as a public official. You never make it personal. We don't have to go that way. We don't have to go there with that because you have the facts behind you. We have a set of rules that we go by in terms of how we treat you and how we receive you here in our chambers. But sometimes it just get to the point like, how can you guys sit there and take all this? Well, we ran for election, and whether we like it or not, some of this we just have to take. But hopefully, God will give us some strength to get through this. That too shall pass. But you just got to know we just don't sit here and do anything, and we don't accept anything. James Freed, we hired him. He works for us. And the whole thing in a nutshell is that he hasn't brought us anything, and he shouldn't bring us anything on behalf of people wanting to do something with the city. If it's not right, he's not going to bring it before us. And that's where that is. So we spend a whole lot of time having processes and things out of place. There's so much your council can do, and we don't make those types of decisions. That stops at our city manager. So all this other stuff and these personal things that are happening, I feel for some of us up here because they're taking a lot, and to the point that what do you don't do anything. You just trust in yourself and keep focused and keep doing the right thing and what you got elected to do, and that is to serve the people of the city of Port Huron. As hard as it may be, that's what you do. You just stay focused and do your job.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashford. Anyone else have anything to say?
Can I add one more thing for
You may.
the neighbors, actually? You brought up some blight concerns, and I assume, anytime blight concerns are brought up during public comment, those always, get investigated. So that'll go tomorrow, I'm sure, to be investigated.
It's been a long time.
Well, and I want to be clear because if in making this statement, we are not working against Mr. Ruck by any means. Our expectation is that he will. If he wants to do what he's going to do and grow his food, as long as he's following our ordinances, then by all means. But they will be enforced.
They have not.
Well, they will be enforced.
we can't go back and forth, but.
Sorry.
I realize that, but it's not the first time.
Look, I know. And I appreciate your comments, Jeff, because the bottom line is you're right. And I personally have never done anything to stop his operation. And yet I seem to be the brunt of his conversations. Why, I'm not sure. But, you know, if he wants to garden, that's entirely up to him if he follows our rules and regulations. But nobody has, to this date, done anything to deter him other than not give him free land. And that is something that I personally am not in favor of, considering the behavior, and I don't think that anybody else is. I don't think we could work with him because it's not necessarily truthful what he speaks. So anyways, with that, if there's anything else to come before the council, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mayor.